Hello, welcome to my video log of my DIY project to revamp my room. This is my first time working on any sort of like actual DIY project that has like wood and like woodworking and painting and stuff like that. So for the past few days I've been on Blender making a mock-up of my room. But today I'm kind of like running out of ideas. So I'm planning to go around town to like the different DIY to woodworking shops to see what's there and maybe get some ideas about what I'm going to do moving on. Yeah, this is my Blender model of my room. This is one of the biggest project, which is this work table that when I want to, I hopefully will be able to like fold down so I have more floor area. This will be around 1.6 meters by around 2 meters. Yeah, this is another part of my desk, which I'm calling it the computer table and my work table respectively. They are made out of like two metal like frame things. The shelves are the same pine as this stain so that they'll match in shade. And this mat, which I'm quite excited to have. This is like DIY as well. So they're made of like this front layer, which is just a piece of paper that I'm buying for like 30 to 40 bucks. And then 1 cm thick of a foam board, and it's backed with this plywood, like as you can see on the back texture there. And then there's this area behind the door, which I really had no idea what I was going to do with it. I'm using the same paint for this accent wall and this like strip. I don't know why like it looks really different, but yeah, it's the same color. And then there's this mirror that I'm having custom cut to exactly the size of one wardrobe door, and so it will fit very nicely. Yeah, so this is my room, and I'm going to be, over the next month or months, I'm going to be making this in real life. Right, so I'm out on the way to Mustafa Center. I heard there's nice stuff there. Alright, that was quite productive actually. I got some good ideas. I found some stuff like there was this like sliding board thing. That all I found online was like really small ones which I don't think would have held up my table. But I saw like really like thick metal rods that can probably do the job. So this is how I'm planning to hold this left side of the swinging table to its upright position, with this sliding board that will go into a hole that I'll drill into this horizontal beam. Like when I want it down, I can like slide it out and then it should be able to swing down. But if I want it up, then I'll slide this in. Alright, so it's been a few days since my last update. I think I've like pretty much finalized what I want my room to look like. It hasn't changed much. These are just like the images that I've rendered. Yeah, so I went ahead to go and buy some stuff already. So this is my spreadsheet of the things that I'm planning to buy and the things that I have already bought. So the total cost is around 1,000. I already spent around 250. So slowly, this price will creep towards this price and my wallet will creep towards zero. But that's okay. Hello. So I'm on the way to a wood supplier today. So I've been talking to them on WhatsApp. And then I've gotten a good quote that is much cheaper than my initial quote that I got from another like online supplier. So I'm heading down to the store to like actually check it out lah. Alright, I just left. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this supplier. The pine wood that I wanted, instead of 20mm, they only had 18mm. I don't think that's going to heavily affect the rigidity of the table, because I also have like these like plywood beams that I'm going to be putting under the table. But it's just like something to know that I think maybe like the increased price compared to the other supplier was the extra 2mm. Either ways, I'm okay with 18mm. I think it's still going to hold up. From my very limited calculations, I think it's going to work. So if my table falls apart, then I'll f***. So in addition to all the stuff that I'm doing to my room, we're also going to redo the floor. Currently my floor is made out of parquet wood, so it's like planks of wood lah. But because we had a leakage problem, the wood has like expanded and like soaked up the water. I can let you all see. Okay, this side is like fine, right? It's like flat. Then at the far corner, somewhere there, yeah, you can see that that area is like there's like missing wood because I pulled it out. Because if I didn't pull it out, the entire area would have puckered up lah. Anyway, so we're gonna replace it with these like vinyl boards. I think I'm gonna choose a darker shade than this one. So that adds another like moving part to this entire like dance. Just an update. The wood supplier that I'm going with can't do delivery, so I just have to check that my dad's car could fit the longest piece, which is the shelf, which is 1.75 meters. Yeah, if we take a look at 1.75, at 1.75 it's just able to fit. Yeah, if it didn't fit, I would have had to get like delivery service to like get it over, and that would be like minimum, I don't know, like 70 bucks or some shit like that. So yeah, so I'm glad that this could work out, saving money. Alright, so today I'm just going back to the wood supplier and confirming my order. All the details here, yeah, for reference for them.
你要 confirm 了啊？
啊，对对。
这么你每次有全件的，1寸的是吗？25mm 的啊？
不是18的。
什么全件
？540
啊，
换成
560。
560对。然后这个从2个换到5个。
25的。
斜的看 corner 就是30 cm。
你不要看了。
也是45度。这2个一样的，就是30 cm on both。
啊 ，OK。
我只能下个 Thursday 来拿。
下个 Thursday
就是27号。27号
，OK。
Alright, that's it. So I just ordered the wood. I'm quite happy with the price I got, 364 in total. When my initial quote with the other company was 500 on there. So yeah. Alright, so today I'm going to the paint supply to go and just see like what paints they have. But these are the paints that I need. So firstly, I need a stain. The stain is not from paint supply that I'm heading to today. So, yeah, but other than that, I need to buy this varnish to coat the stained wood. As for the computer table, and there's other stuff like the bedside table and the mirror side table. So before I paint them black, I need an undercoat to prime the surface, and then I'm intending to use this Nippon Aqua Baudelaire in the color of black. I'm also going to be painting my laminated plywood wardrobe. Before doing that, I'll definitely need to sand down the surface and then use the same primer as for the computer table. Then use the similar type of paint but in a different gray. Yep. And then as for the wall, I'm gonna check whether I really need this primer before I start painting, or can I just like immediately paint onto the wall itself. Right now I'm on my way to the paint supplier. Just gonna go there and ask them for see whether they have it, and things like the paints that I'm intending to use together, are they gonna be compatible? One thing to take note is that like some paints are oil based and some are water based, and so if they're oil based, they release a lot of fumes. So if I have to use that kind of paints, which I'm hoping to avoid, I will have to go downstairs and probably buy something like those big masks. I'm hoping that I don't have to do that, but I also don't want to die. I found this like giant boat, which will definitely hold up my table. It's $6.50. Yeah, so I'm definitely getting this. Okay, hello, this is an update. This is like a haul video. Okay, anyway, so I bought this construction tub that is just big enough to like cover my entire floor area when I start doing all like the heavy duty construction stuff. I bought a bunch of masking tape. Then I bought, actually ideally it's supposed to be 220 grit, but then they are out of 220, they are out of 240. Honestly, I should have just bought it from another shop, but I think 280 will work, I don't know. And then this is the thing that I can use it to like sand the thing flat. And then the last thing I got is wood putty. So when I'm going to be sanding down my laminate wardrobe, right, it's like these parts there's like texture to them when everything else is flat. So I'm intending to fill this in with putty. Alright, hi. So this is a bit update of what I've been doing. Yesterday I was thinking about the wastage of paint and therefore the wastage of money. Firstly, for the undercoat that I need for the table and the wardrobe, right, it totals up to around 14 square meter, where 1 liter can only cover up to 13. So that means that I might have to get 2, or if not, I'll be skimping on the undercoat. Yeah, another thing that I'll be wasting a lot of is the black paint if I were to buy it. Because each liter, and that's the smallest I can buy, can cover up to 15 square meter, but I will only need it for around 3 to 4 square meter. Yeah, so as I was researching more about it, I realized that I can actually dye the wood black instead of having to like firstly put an undercoat and then after that paint it black. The upsides to that would be that if the plywood has like a natural wood grain, I will be able to see it through the dye. So I did the math, and now that the undercoat will only be needed for like the wardrobe, it's safely under the 13 square meter ballpark. And then when it comes to the black dye, I just need to get 1. So even if I skimmed on the undercoat, if I compare the price to if I use the dye instead of painting the things black, right, I'm saving about 16 bucks. Yeah, and I think by doing that also, I'll make the entire thing look a bit more cohesive and a better result after all.